If you go on LinkedIn and you search for a data analyst, you will see 10 thousands of jobs vacancies. And everybody should be opportunist. If you see opportunity, you try to get it. Very simple. Remote opportunities are a lot. There are thousands of remote opportunities, I'm telling you. In a job, manager and an employee is like girlfriend boyfriend. If you earn 15 lakhs in a year in tier 3 city, you will be living lavish life.
Hello everyone, I'm Swati and welcome to another podcast of the iScale. And in today's podcast, we are going to share the success story of Siddharth Swankar, who is currently working as a data analyst in the company Glidewell Dental. And his story is very much interesting क्योंकि टीयर 3 के छोटे से कॉलेज से मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग की पढ़ाई करने के बाद वो यूएस मूव करते हैं. वहाँ पे वो कंप्लीट करते हैं अपना मास्टर्स रिलेटेड टू इंडस्ट्रियल इंजीनियरिंग और नॉन आईटी नॉन टेक्निकल डोमेन से होने के बावजूद वो क्रैक करते हैं डेटा एनालिस्ट का इंटरव्यू यूएस में और वहां पे काम करते हैं वो 6 to 7 years इन द यूएसए एज अ डेटा एनालिस्ट. और उसके बाद वो डिसाइड करते हैं कि मुझे मूव करना चाहिए अपने देश भारत. सो फ्रॉम लास्ट 2 years ही इज करेंटली वर्किंग एज अ डेटा एनालिस्ट इन इंडिया. तो बहुत सारे पॉडकास्ट में हमने ये डिस्कस किया है अबाउट द रोड मैप, अबाउट द प्रिपरेशन पार्ट. लेकिन आज के इस पॉडकास्ट में प्रिपरेशन के साथ साथ हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज वो होती है सैलरी. यूएस बेस्ड कंपनीज की सैलरीज, इंडियन कंपनीज की सैलरीज, करंट मार्केट सिनारियो और इसके साथ साथ एक और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट जो क्वेश्चंस आप लोग हम तक भेजते हैं कि क्या एआई के आने से जॉब रिप्लेस होगा, तो क्या यूएस में इसके सर्कमस्टांसेस और इंडिया में है, ये भी हम डिस्कस करेंगे. और इसके साथ ना जब हम कंपनी में एक्चुअल डेटा एनालिस्ट के तौर पर चले जाते हैं तो कंपनी के कल्चर का डिफरेंट वहाँ पे आपके मैनेजर्स होते हैं, उनके साथ में आपका क्या कुछ सिनारियोज होता है, क्या कुछ ग्राउंड रियलिटी है यूएस में डेटा एनालिस्ट की जॉब की और इंडिया में डेटा एनालिस्ट की जॉब की और खास तौर पे सैलरी पैकेजेस की, ये हम बहुत ही डिटेल में डिस्कस करने वाले हैं आज के इस पॉडकास्ट में. तो आज का ये पॉडकास्ट आपको पढ़ाई का तरीका तो सिखाएगा ही, लेकिन इसके साथ साथ जो प्रैक्टिकल चीजें जरूरी है आपके लिए डेटा एनालिस्ट के रोल को लेके, वो भी आप काफी कुछ सीख सकते हैं आज के इस पॉडकास्ट से. तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं बात सिद्धार्थ के साथ एंड लेट्स स्टार्ट द पॉडकास्ट. Hello everyone, I am Swati and welcome to another podcast of the iScale, and today we are going to unfold the success story of Siddharth Swankar in this podcast. So Siddharth right now is currently working as a data analyst in the company Glidewell Dental, and along with that he has worked in USA for a certain period of time, and he is a patriotic. That's why he decided that I have to come back to my nation, and that's why here Siddharth is having with us in our podcast to contribute to our community, especially the learners who belongs to the small villages who can inspire from the Siddharth's journey and take all the guidance from him today in the podcast. So Siddharth, thank you so much for joining the session.
Thank you for letting me here.
So Siddharth, we are very much curious to know about you because as I mentioned, you have come from the background that from the mechanical engineering domain, you have just started switching into the data analyst profile, and probably for many years you have worked in the USA, and then after you have decided to come back to India. So the whole journey seems very interesting for us. So please just give us a brief about your journey so that our learners will get certain motivation after hearing your journey, Siddharth.
Sure. So, first of all, as you mentioned, right after my schooling, I pursued engineering, bachelor's of engineering in mechanical engineering department. And the reason why I chose mechanical engineering was at that time I was very fond of cars, bikes, and it attracted me in some sense. I did want to make it a career. I was like, I want to become, I want to work in the automobile industry. Like no matter what the what the line goes in designing, architecture, engineering, whatever it is. So that's why I pursued mechanical engineering, and I did my engineering bachelor's from my state university only, Chhattisgarh State University. And pretty much the reasoning behind doing engineering from state university was to save money, because I wanted to go to US and pursue my master's. So I didn't find it very reasonable to spend lakhs of rupees in Bits Pilani, Vellore, Vizag here and there. I did try for AIEEE and I think at that time it was IIT JEE and AIEEE, two different exams. So it did not work out for me. That's why I ended up in the state university. After that, I was pretty much so. Let's say, for example, within third year, I was pretty much clear what I have to pursue, and eventually started working towards GRE and TOEFL by the end of second year, and I was doing it sideways, no coachings required anything. So I was just doing it, along with my engineering studies, and eventually, right after my graduation. I did a crash course in Hyderabad for GRE because it's very important to learn the tips and tips when you want to crack any competitive exam. So that crash course helped me a lot, and I gave my GRE TOEFL in August. I graduated in April, gave in August, and then right in January I joined spring session in Arizona State University, US. I did my master's there in industrial engineering, same domain again, mechanical to industrial. But in industrial engineering, we have four core courses, or we say it like specialization, or also in US it's called major, minor, something like that. So we had supply chain, operations, industrial statistics, and then um, supply chain and information management system, IMS. So I opted for IMS, information management system, and that is nothing but data analytics. IMS or MIS. There are different name for it. BI, IMS, MIS. It's just the same thing. It's nothing but handling data in your organization. For industrial engineering, for us, it was pretty much on very high level. How to collect information, and how to pass it to our superiors, or the storytelling. Storytelling using data. That was our main motive while doing my masters, and that's what we even studied. And right after that, it intrigued me a lot. I was very interested in pursuing this career, business intelligence or data analytics, and then along with my masters. So in US we have culture of working part time, and not just culture. I would say it's also a necessity because the expenses are a lot, and you have to pay off your expenses by working there part time. So I was working in Aramark as a student associate, and there also I was trying to utilize my studies, my courses as much as possible in the data domain. And then after working 8 months there, I landed an internship opportunity at Cox Communication. It was nearby my university. So international students do have opportunity to study at the same time, do their internship as well, along with along with the course going on. So yeah, I did my internship for almost 8 months, and right after my graduation, then I moved to Virginia, as a to work in the BI field as a contractor. And then from there, I did work in Caterpillar, Illinois. Illinois is super cold. I think I remember I was in April in Illinois, and it snowed. Right in April, it snowed. It was so cold. So I decided, no, I want to live in hot city. So I moved. I Yeah, I moved to Texas, and then fortunately, I was lucky enough to land a government contractual role in Texas Department of Transportation, and I worked there for almost 3 years, and then right after that I moved back. So main motive for moving back was, as you mentioned, patriotism. Before leaving US, I was very sure I have to come back. I did not utilize any visa renewal, any extension. I did not even apply for H1B. My fellow colleagues and my friends, at my college, they used to say a lot that just file it and leave it. I was like, no, I don't want to file. Like, cause it will be somewhere in my mind as a greed that I already filed it. I can go back to US. And then I was more of like, if someone needs it, actually they will file it. Why do I need to like hold it? I'm very against the hoarding culture. I don't like it. Pretty much honest. So yeah, I did not apply for it, and by 2022 January I moved back to India. After that, I started for the first 4 months. I started few industries and businesses, agriculture, packaged water. and textile as well. And then once I was like, I felt like okay, it's pretty much running smooth. Then in April, I joined that corporate I would say like IT industry. And my first gig here in India was not that exciting. Because I believe in work-life balance. I was pretty much getting exhausted, so I won't name the company, but the company gave me a hard time. And we were working like 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, 12 hours a day. Did not work out well for me, and then I switched to my current position right now. And also, I have a very strong saying when I tell to my juniors that finding a good manager is like a lucky charm. If you have a good manager, your life becomes very easy, super easy. Yeah. So all I would say like kudos to my manager right now, current manager. And he's very supportive in terms of all the work we do in organization. And have been in I think Glidewell for almost I would say I think 1.5 years, I would say. Yeah. 18 months almost. So yeah, and continue to work towards the IT industry. Right now, the businesses and everything is taken care by my family. But maybe eventually, if I feel like I have to give up my IT industry, then I'll switch back to business. But right now, I'm working as a data analyst. Yeah.
That's pretty much interesting.
Mhm.
So, Siddharth, tell me one thing. After doing all this, you have even did certain courses from IIM Raipur itself, right?
Yes,
So,
yes.
what was happened the time when you decided that because you were an engineer, after that you have clear certain examinations, and then after you go to abroad, and there you worked as a data analyst for I think 6 to 7 years. I think you have worked in US,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, in
And
total,
then
we can say.
yeah, and then after you came back to India, and then after suddenly you decided that okay, IIM Raipur रह गया मेरे पूरे proper resume के portfolio में, so I have to add a tag too. So what happened that time?
Yeah, so as you said, progress is something which we need in my life. I strongly believe that one cannot be in technical field for certain period of time. For let's say if I want to code, I like coding. I'm working in SQL right now, and I'm writing SQL queries. I won't be able to do it till all my years. Like I won't be able to do it till like 45 years of age, 50 years of age. At certain point, I have to move to managerial role. And that's good. We possess technical knowledge, we have technical knowledge, everything's fine, everything's nice. But at the end of the day, we can't code. Like that's what happens with like developers. And eventually they start slagging, obviously, because they lack in technology. And they're not able to cope up with new programming languages coming in, because that's what IT is. Like when you work in IT, you have to be updated with the market. There's a new language coming in, you have to be aware about that new language. For example, right now, earlier it was Excel. People used to do data analytics and all business intelligence operations in Excel. Then it came Power BI. Now it's Tableau, and now there's something else coming in. Right now. So that's the thing. And if right now we used to have a lot of colleagues in my Texas Department of Transportation earlier, and they were very hesitant because they're already 50 years of age, and they were like, see, I already worked my 30 years of life in Excel. If you say I have to switch to Tableau right now, it won't work for me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I personally believe eventually an IT engineer, developer, software developer, tester, they have to eventually move into managerial role, to keep to keep progressing and to have a better, I would say, work-life balance.
All right.
Yeah.
So Siddharth, there is one more thing. Like 7 years you have worked in USA, and right
Mhm.
now I think from last 1.5 to 2 years, or
Almost 2 years in India.
almost
Yeah.
2 years, yeah. So from last 2 years you are there in India. So how was your experience of working as a data analyst in USA and now in India?
Well, obviously, the work culture is very good in US. Like no matter how much people say that US, they will complain about US, but I would say in terms of work culture, we are way behind US. Um, People, no matter what their position, are very respective to your position. I'll be very honest. A janitor in the same company has as much as respect than a CEO in the same company. No one treats them with some sort of like
Hmm.
leveling or like, so we in India, we say there is no casteism, there is no right now we don't designate, but I'll tell you, we have created this in like each and every sector of our life. Even in IT industry organizations, they'll be like, executives having their own group, and then developers having their own group, and then obviously your testers having their own group. So that's how it has become more often in India. And then the more higher you go, the less you have to work in. That's what everybody believes in India. Like if you become CEO, then you'll be working very less. If you are director, you'll be working a little bit. If you are manager, you'll be working sometimes. If you are a developer, you'll be working all the times. Just like that. If you are intern, you're only working, no salary at all. So that's what things are. But in US, it's not like that. They believe in a manager has to work along with the developers as well. As much as the developer is working, if he's putting 40 hours a week, the manager is also putting 40 hours a week, and not just in like administrative works, but also he's also writing queries, he's also coding, he's also doing testing, he's doing documentation, he's doing everything along with the developer. So that's where I see a major difference between Indian and US workplace or work culture, I would say. Apart from that, there are few things I would like to address which are not good. There is racism in US still. No matter where you go, no matter which company you go, there is some sort of discrimination between brown people or like Asians, I would say, more common. Not just that, within themselves as well. As Spanish people or the Mexicans or Hispanic people, I would say, are more of a category, and then the Caucasian, the white people. So there are differences, and which I don't like, which I would not appreciate, which I faced in US. People don't talk about it because people feel ashamed to talk about it. To be honest, and I'm in India, so I can talk about it. Yeah,
Now
yeah,
you are in Apna Ghar, right? And in
yeah.
Apna Ghar, you can say anything
I can
because,
say, yeah.
yeah, because we Indians can't resist without sharing our experience, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes, yes.
the
That's
thing
true.
is that you have talked about the culture, and that is very much important because right now in the IT sector we are seeing this thing. So many people are suffering from depression and so many things. So
Correct.
this is very much important because the workplace you are spending your 10 hours to 12 hours sometimes in a day, sometimes it varies too. So it is very
Yes.
important the culture in which we are spending much of our hours throughout the day. So tell
Correct.
me one thing, Siddharth. Culture is completely, I agree with your point, but the second thing for which people usually go from India to abroad, the main reason is about the salaries. It's because in USA you are getting the amount in the dollars, and right now when you came back to India, it is in the INR. So, what sort of differences the jobs in the USA, especially the data analyst jobs in the USA and right now in India, are creating? What are your opinions on that?
So obviously, there's a huge difference on salary. Like no matter where you go, in US, all states have minimum salary declared by the government. Like if you are in Wisconsin, you will have $8 per hour. If you are in Texas, you will have $10 per hour. If you are in California, it'll be $13 per hour. That's the minimum salary that you have to pay. Respectively, all the salaries get designated likewise. As you mentioned, data analyst. So let's say, for example, if we talk about on an average in US, a data analyst can make almost about $80,000 in US on an average right now. That comes to almost 65 lakh rupees. Without the tax deduction. Similarly, in India, like we would say data analyst average salary ranges to like 10 to 12 lakhs right now. Average, if we go like
Yes.
on an average, yeah. So there is a difference to it, but you also have to sacrifice for it. I mean, as I mentioned, you have to leave your family, you
Exactly.
have to leave your friends, you will be all by yourself. And I'll tell you one more thing: people don't get this thing. You won't get a housemaid, you won't get a house help,
Hmm.
you won't get a cook, you won't be able to get any sort of help. So you have to clean, you have to wash dishes, you have to cook. And believe me, I'll tell you, after you wash dishes, after you wash dishes for 5 years, you will see your hand and you will regret it, because it'll be like so much rough, and you'll be like, now I need a maid, how's that? so, so these are the sacrifices. Again, I'm telling you, these are the sacrifices you have to go for. In India, even if you are earning 12 lakhs or 10 lakhs in a year, now no matter which city you live, either you can live in Bangalore, Mumbai, you will live a very comfortable lifestyle, where you don't have to clean your house, where you don't have to like wash dishes, you don't have to cook, you can hire a cook, you can hire a maid, and you can also get we also get dry cleaners here, right? Dry cleaners, lawn, you don't get anything. Yeah, you have to
Exactly.
do everything. If you have 6 pairs of clothes to work in a week, you have to wash that pair of clothes on Sunday. You have to iron them, press them completely, make them straight, and then keep them, arrange them. Yeah.
Yeah, completely agreed. We can say that USA का 65 lakh का package is almost in India it's equivalent to 10 lakh 12 lakh का package where a person can stay with the family. जहाँ कपड़े धोने हो ना तो भी we can say मम्मी ये wash कर दो, right? We are living with our family. Whenever we have anything that is not happening good in our life, we are having certain friends with we can say all these things what is going on in our life. So definitely it plays a
Also,
very
yeah. Also, I would like to add one more thing. So, people, we have to compare against the cost of living against the cost of living.
hmm,
And cost of living is synonymous with your style of living, right?
exactly.
So let's say, for example, you eat 30 days outside in India, right? You will eat outside morning, evening, right? You won't cook at all. So you will be paying, let's say, if you go on mess, you will pay around 6,000 rupees, per month, 5,000 rupees per month. That's maximum. If you go outside, you will pay 10,000 rupees. Every day you are going eating biryani, every day you are eating
Hmm.
parota, something like that. You will make you will spend 10,000 rupees. That's a maximum. But if you go in US, and if you, I think, try to get a good meal, in let's say any Indian restaurant in US, you will end up paying $15, which is nothing but 1,000 rupees for one meal, one time meal. Okay.
Hmm, exactly.
So if you say that you will eat for 30 days, twice that time, then calculate. It'll go like 60,000 rupees, 70,000 rupees just for eating, outside. So, and then similarly, let's say, for example, what else? I was comparing. Going outside, going outside is also expensive. You have to pay the, and then the biggest drawback in US is you don't have public transport.
Hmm,
Like, no
exactly.
matter how big city you go, there are few public transport facilities in California because of the density of the people living there.
Hmm.
But still, it won't work out for you because it's not covering the whole city. You have to go by your own car. You have to go by whatever whatever means of transport you own. So that also contributes to a lot of, I would say, expenses. Here, if you want to go from Medupatnam, I don't know if you live in Hyderabad. Do you live in Hyderabad? Yeah. If,
Yeah, I was there in Hyderabad for a
yeah.
certain period of time.
Yeah, if you want to go Medupatnam from Kukatpalli, you take 20 rupees metro. That's it, done. You take metro pass for a month, 1,000 rupees metro pass. Super easy.
Exactly, that's the
Not
saying ना.
expensive. Yeah.
इंसान अपने घर में अपने देश में राजा बन के रहता है, that is true. When we'll go outside, we'll have to understand about the every cost of bread and butter that we are having in the foreign cities. So,
Yes.
coming to the point that Siddharth, I completely understand in the US as well, when you were doing your master's, you were doing in the industrialization field, that was something completely different from the data analyst profile in which right now you're having. So, at that time, because in the USA, how you have started learning the skill set related to data analyst for your for getting the job, because in USA, for the students, jobs are very much important because they have to pay for their expenses. So, how you started, what was the roadmap you followed? Please just share your experience about the job role.
Sure, sure. So like, when we talk about these things, changing a domain, or like we changing our degree and changing our work field. Think about it in such a way. Nobody learned coding or started writing codes from childhood. They
Exactly.
learned it at any point of life. Either they learned it when they were in school, let's say high school, 15 years of age. Either they learned it when they joined their bachelor's engineering, 20 years of age. Either they learned after they're not getting any type of job and they were sitting in home for 2 years. So it's just the necessity, to be honest. At some point of life, at some point of time in US, you have to realize that core jobs are very less. If I would have been if I would have been adamant that I will be working only in supply chain, only in mechanical field, that's very that'll be very troublesome for me, because the opportunities are less. So I say, even to my juniors, I talk about them in the same field. The chances of getting anything is higher when the choices are more. When the opportunities are more. For example, 1 lakh people applying for five posting of IAS people. Not everybody will get the IAS post, right? Only five people will end up getting those five seats, and 99,995 people will be unemployed at that time. So if I would have chosen the same path, there's very high chance I would have been unemployed right now. I won't be in this podcast. So, but eventually, that's the call of the time. I realized that the job market asks for IT role. And even though I won't be able to hardcore go into software development, I can opt for a middle path, like not either completely non IT or like completely IT. I can opt something in middle, which is data analyst or
Exactly.
business intelligence, right? Where I don't need to code all the time, but also I can do a little bit of query writing in SQL, or little bit of coding in Python, and then I can make my bread out of it. So we have to come up with something like that, at the end of the day. Like if someone agrees, that I have to get only this, you will be able to get that. I am not saying you won't be able to get, but there will be some time required for that, right? There people are very lucky who get it, at the very first time. They're very lucky. Not everybody. See, I told you the same story, right? 1 lakh applicants applying for UPSC, only five seats. So not everybody will get it. So 1 year will be gone, 2 years will be gone, 3 years will be gone. And I personally believe, as a youngster, 20 to 30 is the most prime time to earn as much as money as you can.
Exactly.
Utilize your every minute. Utilize your every minute. Yeah, you should go to party, you should do everything, you should travel, do everything. But whatever you create till the age of 30 will live with you till the next 50 years. So it's 30
Exactly.
against 50. 30 against 50. Very simple. Yeah. So now either you create a business, either you go into IT, you pick one domain, or you pick one job, anything you would like, and then that will be almost there with you for the next 50 years, right? And it will be bread and butter for you. So you have to be very respectful to the time. You don't. I suggest to everyone, don't waste time. If you see opportunity right now, data is hot cake. Everybody is like data analyst, data analyst, and there's a reason behind it, because there are so many openings, right? If you go on LinkedIn and you search for a data analyst, you will see 10 thousands of jobs vacancies. It'll be like data analyst openings. So that's true. And everybody should be opportunist. If you see opportunity, try to get it. Very simple. And there will be a little bit hard work for it. It won't be a piece of cake, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. I'll tell you. At the end of the day, when you sit in your chair, when you sit in your car, when you sit with your family, you will realize it was all worth it. You will be having a smile in your face. No regrets at all.
That I completely agree. So,
Yes.
Siddharth, let's just talk about the remote jobs, because there are so many US based companies which are offering the jobs right now in India, and remotely people are working in the US based companies and they are getting a very good package. So, please just give your opinion about that. And is that the remote work location? Because there are so many, I'm asking this question because there are so many housewives who have just decided that they have to start their career again. So the problem was that they are not being able to go to Bangalore because their whole family, let's suppose, is living somewhere in Bihar, So that's a problem. So because you have worked in the US, so that's why you might be having certain good idea, because there are so many companies. Because in India the labor workforce is cheaper as compared to the USA. In USA, if the company is offering 65 lakh rupees ka package, then in India they are just simply offering 25 lakh rupees package, and the person will be very much happy to get that package and start working for that. So please give your opinion on that, about the companies and the growth of the data analyst job in the future. So there are two questions. Please just try to
Yes,
explain us.
sure, definitely. So, for remote job, everybody, like whoever the applicant is, they must try to look for new companies which are coming in India, right? Now, if you say Facebook will be offering you a remote job in India, no, they won't offer you a remote job. The maximum they can do is hybrid job. They'll be like, bro, you have to come 5 days, sorry, 2 days out of 5 days, and 3 days you can be in home, right? So the opportunity comes in from new entries. When there are new companies coming from US to India, new companies coming from Latin America to India, not just US, from Europe, Germany, like several companies coming now, every now and then. And then eventually they won't be having that much capital to get corporate office, and start with full on, full blown, creating office space and spending crores and crores out of it.
Yes.
So they'll explore their option first, right? And this is where the applicants must take advantage from, right? If you find a company which is pretty new, and they are exploring their options, they are trying to find talents all around India, that's absolutely fine. Go grab it. Now again, in terms of names of company, I would say the very easiest way to do it is like, for example, I use LinkedIn a lot. So if you go on LinkedIn, there is a filter to select remote job option, on-site, hybrid, remote. If you click on that remote option, it will give you a list of job openings and the companies which offer remote jobs. Now I would say the salary, right? People be like adamant on getting 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs, and then you will also hear stories from it. I'll tell you the reality behind it. So I'm the one, we even hire people, so I'll tell you what happens behind that. So let's say someone is in Gaya, Bihar, Gaya, okay, or someone is in Patna, Bihar, or someone is in Raipur, Chhattisgarh. How much is their cost of living? Whole family. I'll tell you, yearly. It's not more than 3 lakh rupees with all comfortable options. They have AC, they have a 2 BHK house, they are getting, good amount of groceries, getting good amount of green foods. They have made everything. You can calculate it all the ways that it won't come more than 3 lakhs. Okay. Now, if you compare the same cost of living in Bangalore, it will go to 10 lakhs per family of four, right? So 10 lakh, 3 lakh, 7 lakh rupees same, right? People in Bangalore are getting 20 lakh rupees. You can get in Bihar or Patna for 12 lakhs. Easy deal, right? You will save the same amount of money they are also saving. It's so straightforward. So you should not blindly go for, people say, oh, I grabbed 25 lakh rupees salary. Just not blindly, okay, I have to get 25 lakh rupees. 15 lakhs is more than enough for a tier 2 cities, I'll tell you. More than enough. And it's way more for tier 3 cities. It's
Exactly.
way more, yeah. If you earn 15 lakhs in a year in tier 3 city, you will be living lavish life. You will drive full blown SUV, you will have a big house, you can do whatever you want. You can have like a couple of international trips in a year. Not like US and Europe trip. I'm talking about Bali, Thailand, Dubai, like those small trips. Like that. And there's another option. There's another catch to it. People never get it. So applicants don't get it. When a company says 30 lakh rupees package, you have to see how much of that 30 lakh rupees component is fixed component. Fixed component is what you will be getting in hand.
Exactly.
Okay. Now the other component comes up is variable. That variable could be stock option. That variable could be your performance bonus. That variable could be your retention bonus. Now these are all different things. Performance bonus is when you work, as per their expectation, they'll give you the bonus. It could be 2 lakh rupees bonus, 3 lakh rupees bonus. And it's a hard truth, no one in the whole world has got 100% of their bonus. They'll either get 50%, 60%, 80%. See, very simple. Retention bonuses, you have to be in the company for 3 years, then you'll get it. Stock options is you have to be in company for 5 years, then you'll get your stocks will get vested in your account. So these are very tricks which companies utilize to how should I say it, to to keep people from resigning and finding new opportunities. You know, that's the reason. I know a person who grabbed 42. I'll be very honest. It's a fact. And people will also fact check it in Google. I know a person who grabbed a package of 42 lakh rupees, and their in-hand salary was 1,10,000 rupees per month.
All right.
After,
And that company was based in India or it was in US?
no, I'm talking about India.
Okay.
and the company is a big company. It comes in like top 10 companies.
Okay.
And it's not just about that company. It applies to almost all the big companies. And it's a sad reality. People don't understand it. In hand is what matters the most. If you are earning, if you have 15 lakh CTC, and which is all fixed component, 15 lakh fixed component, which you will be getting in hand, you will be getting 1,20,000 rupees in hand, no matter which city you live in India, after tax deduction, after all the types of tax deduction, right? Now, similarly, if you get 40 lakh, this kind of package, 40 lakh CTC, and now what you're getting in hand is 1,10,000 rupees. So, you only compare which is better, 15 lakh fixed, or 40 lakhs with so much of variable components, not even getting in hand. So that's what applicants must look for. Whenever they apply for a job, whenever they get an offer letter, they must ask the HR how much is the fixed component out of it. Now HR will say, they'll try to, that's HR thing, they'll be like, we'll let you know
Market
later.
negotiations.
Yeah, we'll let you know later, or like, oh, we'll tell you about this later. No, that's the first thing you need to know. That's your right to know. Ask them what is the fixed component. If someone's giving you 25 lakhs fixed component, that's very big thing in India. It's rare. Anybody will be giving you 25 lakhs fixed. So there'll be always a variable component into it. So that's why you have to be very smart. You have to be very conscious about your, this salary, and about this fixed component and variable component. Apart from that, remote opportunities are a lot. There are thousands of remote opportunities. I'm telling you. I told you the way. How you have to find it. Just go on LinkedIn, filter the site location or the job location to remote. You'll get all the listings of remote job. Very easy, super easy.
In most of the podcasts and Siddharth, we have discussed about their preparation strategy, but especially I would like to say that in this podcast, people have to listen this because if they would like to have a clear understanding about the salary part, that is very much important for your life. So thank you so much for sharing all the insights from USA to Bihar to Bangalore to Raipur. So basically, Siddharth, I have one more question. Like, especially coming to the salary part, comes only when we will be able to crack the data analyst interview. So, give me a brief about the interviews because you have faced the interviews in the USA as well as after coming back to USA in India too. So,
Sure.
how many rounds were there in USA and right now in India? What is the pattern that is going on for the data analyst role shortlisting that companies right now are doing?
Yeah, so you can expect almost, I would say, minimum 3 rounds of interviews, and maximum it can also go up to 5 rounds of interviews. Now, within this 3 to 5 rounds, 2 rounds are your technical rounds. One is oral technical, and then the other one goes for your the written technical, or which is where you have to, which where you have to code or write the query. Now it depends on your job requirement. Once you are applying to the job, look for the job description. If it's asking for Python, then obviously you have to code in Python, and there might be, they might give you a test case scenario, um, to create a code for it, or like change the logic, or they might also give a wrong code and ask you to correct the code. Similarly, they might also ask you. So basically, I am from a SQL background. I use SQL a lot, and even the jobs which I apply, mostly they use SQL only. So for SQL, it's very simple. They will have a set of data. and they'll ask you to create a query to fetch that particular data, whatever they are asking, right? And then it can be a dummy code. Dummy code is where you have to just write it on Microsoft Word or Notepad, and the interviewer analyzes it, by seeing your verbiage of the code or optimization of the code, how many lines you have written for that code, and what technique you have used. Either you have used CTE or you have used joins, and certain things like that. And he may cross question from that. That's what mostly happens in data analyst interviews. Once you write the code or once you write the query, then the cross questions begins. Why you have used CT, why you have used left join, why didn't you use inner join? And I would like to tell the audience that there is no one in the world who can write the code in at one time, all accurate, perfect. It's pure luck that if you write a code or query. I'm not talking about very basic query, like select star from, that's very different thing. But I'm talking about the queries where people have to write 20 lines of queries, or like 50 lines of code, and it'll include set of operation. So human mind is set in such a way that we go one by one. We'll be like, okay, one step, second step, third step, but the code doesn't work in that way. So there are very high chances that your code won't work. But what your interviewer is looking is how you are approaching things to, how confident you are in explaining what you have written, how confident you are in accepting things which are wrong in your query, in your code, how humble you are to correct it. These are the qualities which a good interviewer or a good manager will always look for. uh, if I am interviewing, I won't look for a candidate who can write a code 100% correct. If he is writing 100% and I'm like, he's cheating, I'll just tell everyone that he's cheating. Something's wrong. If it's written, it's working in one in he has written it and it works at first time only. So it'll be always trial and error. It'll be always, some things goes off and then it throws a error, and then you correct it. And when there's a dummy code, the dummy code is, you have to explain your dummy code, and then they ask cross questions. Very simple. Apart from that, there'll be the other rounds are managerial rounds, where they'll ask some soft skill questions about your adaptability, about your technological awareness, about your innovative ideas, about your past experience, and if you are a fresher, then about your projects, most probably. And then what else? And then after that, it's a HR round, right? HR round again goes for the same thing, like how far are you looking yourself, in the next 5 years. What are your short-term goals, what are your long-term goals, very basic things. So I would say, just be honest. If anybody wants to say that they want to be prime minister in next 5 years, just tell them you want to be a prime minister for the next 5 years. That's it. Either they will like it, and then they will be like, oh yeah, this guy is ambitious, he is very nice, he's very straightforward, and then they'll accept it. And otherwise, they won't like it, and you have to go for another interview. Now the reason behind saying truth, and talking all your heart out in any interview, I'll tell you the reason behind it, and why I suggest all these people to not fake anything, to not make up anything. Job In a job, manager and an employee is like girlfriend boyfriend. Now, that's what I talk about. They have to vibe. They have to vibe. If the manager is toxic, you have to be toxic. That's how you will vibe. Otherwise, you won't be able to sustain in that work environment. If the manager is humorous, and he like jokes about things, you have to be humorous. That's how you will match. That's how you guys will vibe. And once that vibe kicks in, the relationship goes forever. There is no breakup. And he will hear what you are saying, and you will also hear from him. You'll also obey him. It's just like the very simple boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. That's how manager and employee relationships are. Yeah. So just be yourself. be all your heart out, and like speak all your heart out, and be very honest, whatever you like. If they ask, do you like samosa, don't lie to them you don't like samosa. Just tell them, yeah, yeah, I like samosa. Yeah. Very simple. I like burger, I like pizza, like that. Very simple things.
So
So
basically, you are trying to say that many times we have heard that opposite attracts, but here you are trying to say that you have to vibe in the same way as
yes,
your manager is vibing, then only the energy between the two persons will map up together and they will have the ecosystem or the environment in which they can work together.
correct,
So
correct,
it's a very good
absolutely.
logic that you have given here about the
Yeah,
relationship of a boyfriend and girlfriend, like a manager and an employee.
yeah,
I hope that those people who are willing to work in the corporate, all this office related things are going to help you in the long way. So,
yeah. And
Siddharth,
also,
huh,
yeah, also, one more thing I would like to add is, you know uh, for example, I was talking about this thing as well, like toxicity, I would say.
hmm,
When I met my manager, and he was like, do you have any questions for us? At that time, people are very hesitant. They'll be like,
hmm,
don't ask negative questions. Always ask in a such a way that you will look positive. You will look at like you're talking about the growth. You're talking about everything, and he'll be like, do you have any negative qualities? He'll ask those things. I was like, can I be honest? And he was like, yeah, you can be honest. And I told him, I want to work only 8 hours. I don't want to work more than 8 hours. And just the way you are laughing, he also laughed. And he was like, yeah, even I like to work 8 hours. That's how that's the moment I knew we clicked. Even he knew we clicked. And that's why you back the interview. Now, again, I was telling you, I was just trying to add you cannot be 100% efficient in technical background. You don't need to know 100% about the code. You don't need to be very good in
hmm,
writing queries. You don't need to be very good in technical. But if you are, I would say, even 50% good at soft skills, you will land the job. That's it.
exactly. I completely agree with that point.
Yeah.
Because whenever I talk to any of the founders or CEOs, because the iSkill is connected with so many companies across India, every CEO and CHRO have told me the same things. But if anybody is good at the soft skills, because technology is replacing everything, you can go over there and you are seeing already that AI is overcoming and everything is going on. But the only one thing that is not going to change is about the behavioral exchange that people are right now doing about their habits and about the soft skills that they are having. So I completely agree with your point, and that's why whatever be the work you are doing, that is absolutely good. But if you're not able to explain them in the front of the interview, then nothing will help you in that. So communication part plays a very crucial role, and I completely agree with that, Siddharth. So
Right.
Siddharth, here comes one more question. Please just, as I was talking about AI, please just give your honest opinion about the thing that is the job relate like data analyst or the data scientist are booming, and what sort of impact the AI is going to have on such jobs. What are your opinions on that? Because see, not nobody is able to give the right or the accurate answer of this question, but at least we can share our opinion so that at least we are having the understanding that what is going on right now and what you are thinking about that.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, how we have to approach this thing about AI. All of the questions you asked, the answer lies in human factor engineering. There's a whole sector of engineering, whole domain of engineering. It's called human factor engineering. Now, that human factor engineering says a robot can only communicate to a robot. A robot cannot communicate to a human being, and a human being cannot communicate to a robot. And I'll tell you the reason behind it. And that when we talk about robot, it's nothing but AI, right? And let's talk about what is AI. AI is nothing but combination of if and else in a code. If they say do, you do. If they don't say do, don't do. Now code doesn't understand maybe. Code doesn't understand do you want to do. Are you getting it? Code
Hmm.
doesn't understand. They only understand one word do. That's it. Very simple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in that case, we humans always try that, especially in India.
Yes.
What is the jugaad wala path, right?
Yeah.
If the machine is saying no, then also we have to develop certain things that how can we get that thing and just
Yes.
convert that don't into do.
Yes.
So
And
yeah,
yeah,
agreed.
that's the one thing you said, just related to a client and a stakeholder, right?
Hmm.
Stakeholder or client is coming to you. They say, Swati, can you do this for us if you have time? You'll be like, no, maybe not right now, the next week. And then you will be like, okay, okay, this thing goes on, and like you get your bandwidth and you do it. Similarly, the same thing resonates with requirements. Swati, I want to know about products which are not selling properly, but also selling properly. Now, what did you infer from this? Nothing, right? That's how client communicates. Client doesn't, because my client is not about data, not data aware, right? He doesn't have data literacy. So client could be a janitor, client could be a manager, client could be a software developer, client could be a CEO. They don't have to be data literate, right? All they do is they try to explain you things in the words which they know, right? As I said, Swati, I want to know about products which are selling but are not selling. Now, from what would AI infer from this? Nothing. And then you will ask the client or stakeholder, oh, are you saying the products which have been selling and which have been returned back? Like, yeah, you are correct. That's what I'm saying. See, that's how things are. In this scenario, yeah, AI will never be able to take over things, because we human know how to communicate to a human. I'll tell you the reason why Tesla autopilot is not successful. It not just in India. I'm saying even in US, where the rules and regulations are so strict, everything is being followed properly. Even though AI or autopilot is not able to work on it or like get over things. I'll tell you the reason. In US, we have left yield, just like in India we have right yield, or maybe I could be wrong, or I could be opposite way. So when the other person is stopping, right, then you have the yield of approach. Then you can take left, right. Similarly in India as well with for the right. AI doesn't understand this thing. There was a very famous case, and Uber autonomous vehicle was driving.
Hmm.
The person just jumped in, and AI did not had any command for it. It just ran over, and the person died. Very unfortunate for that person. So,
Exactly. It needs
and
time.
we humans will be like, we'll see, oh, that thela that pani puri wala guy is about to come into the, we'll start breaking on before it. Are you getting it, right? We'll see their intentions way behind. That's the same thing happens with AI. It's if we want the AI world to succeed or AI thing to succeed, the even the client and the stakeholder also needs to be AI. Then only AI to AI will communicate. If the
Hmm.
client or stakeholder is human and you have a responder, a developer, software developer is AI, it won't work. In any scenario, it won't work. I'll tell you. If you remember, there was a time when WhatsApp had a chatbot. If you
Hmm.
remember, yeah, chatbot.
Yes.
Or no, are you using chatbot? No, why? Because if you are talking to a dad, you just tell them, Dad, we need atta. You know, we need flour. Okay, you'll bring 5 kg flour. Yeah, will be like, how many kg you want? 5 kg. From which store you want? Thing goes on. It's just like that. Very simple. It will never apply. It will never work. It will be working on basic things like let's say chat support. And that too people are getting frustrated from it because
Hmm.
it keeps responding the same thing. Obviously that's the same reason, because it doesn't understand human emotions. It doesn't understand human language. you know in India we have different set of slangs. you know It'll be like chalo means, chalo can also be go with us, and chalo can also be get away from here,
Hmm.
right?
Yes, exactly. Because the
Yeah,
way we understand the Are Chalna and Aiye Chaliye creates
yeah,
a difference in the tone itself. So I also think that it takes a long time to
yeah.
develop certain things, all the technological transformations that is going on. And
AI, yeah, AI. Right now, we can talk about AI because we have IT, we have
hmm,
information technology around us, and we get to know things very, very fast and very efficient. Boston Dynamics came with some new robot. We'll get to know about it super fast. Earlier, in when 1990s AI was there, I'll be very honest with you. AI
hmm,
is with us for like past 60-40 years. Okay. Earlier, when Boston Dynamics created something in 1990, no one knew about it until unless Dainik Bhaskar or Navbharat decided to publish it on, right, in the
hmm,
newspaper. Then everybody started talking about it. So right now, the hype gets created with the talk. Um, it's just the way how our social media works. It's also unfortunate and it's also good. And walk with the talk thing. Everybody is talking about AI. I will also talk about AI. Everybody is AI. AI is hot cake for getting stakeholders and clients. All the companies start using big data, AI, and data science, and they don't know in the background the software developer is only using if else. If this, then that.
It's a saying that whenever you go, wherever you go, you have to connect with your roots. So same for the people who are doing the work of a data analyst, data scientist. We are
Yep.
just sticking to our concepts, just trying to imagine the things much more in a more technological way. And what
Yep.
my take on this is that basically AI is not going to replace you. People who are having the skill set related to the particular job, they are going to replace you because you are not having the skill set. It's not the machine that is going to replace the human. So Siddharth, truly it's a pleasure speaking to you. एंड एज आई मेंशन लोगों को ये पॉडकास्ट इसलिए नहीं देखना चाहिए कि डेटा एनालिस्ट की जॉब कैसे लगाना है. देयर आर सो मेनी वीडियोस अवेलेबल ऑन द यूट्यूब. लोगों को जॉब के प्रैक्टिकल पे, रियल लाइफ टाइम पे, यूएस पे, इंडिया पे क्या हो रहा है, सैलरी पे क्या हो रहा है, अबाउट द कल्चर दैट इज देयर इन द ऑफिस, ये सारी चीजें अगर प्रैक्टिकली जाननी सुननी है, सो दैट्स व्हाई दे हैव टू वॉच दिस पॉडकास्ट. एंड वंस अगेन आई एम ट्रूली ग्लैड that you have joined the session, shared your experiences honestly with us without sugarcoating the things. And that is what I wanted on the podcast, where people come and share about their journey. So, Siddharth, you are truly inspiring on the way that you are continuously updating yourself. You are not just limiting yourself. So, that is basically the learning from me for you. Basically, that is the basic learning for me as well. So, thank you so much once again for joining the session. And it's pleasure speaking to you, Siddharth.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.